Talk about cement in particular, Nitin. What do you think is going on there? Numbers continue to disappoint, but stocks are running hard.
Well, I think stocks are running high primarily in anticipation because the cement prices have firmed up. I mean, some people blame it on the fact that all cement companies are holding the prices up, but I don't think that kind of model will work in the long run. So again, as I said, it's a bet on whether the cycle is actually going to turn. Capacity is going to be utilized, and obviously there's been a fair amount of capacity available in that segment, and that obviously has led to lack of any visible appreciation in the cement prices or even in the stock prices. But I think. As I said, expectation is that the worst is behind us. I would say the asset test really will be the next quarter numbers. And if there are visible signs that September quarter was really the worst, I think you'll probably see even further potential of up move in that sector. But again, as I said, it's a very regional specific play, and you really need to focus on where you think is going to be the opportunity.
Any stocks, etc. you want to talk about in that space, cement?
Not at this moment.
Right. Fair enough. Power grid, Nitin, how do you look at that one?
Right.
Now? Stocks at what, about 100? They're selling stuff. Right, go on.
Yeah, I think it was probably at 107, 108 before the FPO was announced. It's a fairly straightforward investment rationale. I think based on both the fact that there is a 15% discount offered by the government for the FPO and another 5% discount that is available to retail investors, I think it's a straightforward 20% return on the stock in a fairly short period of time. And in that way, it's actually a fairly straightforward investing case. Then even if you look at the long-term potential for power grid, based on the capacity capex that has gone in and the addition to their business, I think it's actually not a bad long-term story either. So I think from our point of view, definitely a very, very strong case to look at what can be done, during the FPO and even otherwise. So I think we are fairly confident that the FPO will see, fairly good response, and I think that's kind of evident from the numbers so far till yesterday.
Quickly get your view on Coal India as well, Nitin. It's cooled off from those first 2 days of gains, listing gains, and the day after that. Is current levels a value opportunity or no?
I think there are two aspects to the whole Coal India story. One obviously is it's a great company, one of the top 10 companies today, market leader, strong entry barriers in that market, supply constraints. I think everybody knows the whole fundamental side of the business. I think the significant issue really was that one, it was priced really well and there was a lot left on the table, which obviously meant that investors found the right opportunity to profit from it. I think it's actually sentimentally and psychologically, it's one of those, I would say, turning points in the market at this point, because it's probably brought back a lot of focus on not just IPOs, but also the equity markets in general from a retail investor point of view. And I think that's something that the markets needed, because if there is one segment of the market that's not participating in the last 12 to 18 months, by whichever parameter you look at it, whether it's retail equity volumes, retail mutual fund flows, and to some extent off-late insurance flows, I think retail investors really haven't been there to benefit from the last up move in any incremental way. So I think that really will change the tide, hopefully, and bring the focus back to the general investing public. And then I think the power grid issue has been a good follow-on to that. On the Coal India's per se, I think it's probably close to its fair value in the very short term. But as I said, I think it's one of those great long-term stories, primarily based on the fact that the commodity that they own is such a scarce commodity with strong demand that as long as they keep executing well based on the plans that they've laid out, I think it's really a good long-term play.